Hey guys, so we're back with another video. So I'm your host Sleepy Celestial. So guys, this is going to be the next video, which is going to be part 5. We're also going to be releasing part 6 as well tomorrow. Now I wanted to focus on the Renaissance Echoville, but this time we're going back in time during the Renaissance era. Now, I mentioned this before that the interludes are predicting basically different parts of the Renaissance and how the connection between the Echoville and how it travels to now Cowboy Carter. And I mentioned this before, but the different iterations of the stage will play a bigger part into the next act. I mentioned that in my previous video, and I think a lot of people agrees with me that the Renaissance stage, as I mentioned before, was a banjo, which conclude that this stage would have been for Cowboy Carter instead of the rock stage, which in a weird way, Beyonce blending the different genres for different segments of the list, basically also implementing that into her stage design as well. There's a part of the Renaissance film that focused on Beyonce giving the description of the tour and how many people or person it took for her to basically put those things together. Now, flash forward now, this robotic metallic chrome look, the silver look from the Renaissance played a bigger factor, I would say, into predicting what was going to be next. One of the interludes, which I will probably cover when we do part 6, is basically explaining how each of the segment of the Renaissance has this weird looping that is happening in the background. Even from the track of I'm That Girl, she is almost as if echoing herself to the present, future, and this is more referencing the futuristic version of Beyonce. And like I mentioned in my previous video, indicating that Beyonce is not just challenging the essence of Sasha Fierce, but I feel as if she's going to introduce us to a new alter ego, which has been being manifested from creating the 3 acts. Even from the concert and the tour, here's what something she said in the film.
True beauty is in the process. This right here, these are all the iterations of the sample. This tour is a machine. You walk into a stadium, you see this beautiful production. You don't realize that screen was built by hand. Every little panel is stacked.
So I wanted to play this short clip of basically her explaining that the Renaissance stage as well as the Cowboy Carter stage are machines and a bigger design, like bigger invention. I think, like I mentioned before, that we will start seeing the veil unleash from the stage, and that she's going to give us more information, even backstory on the Cowboy Carter film, if she ever plans on doing a Cowboy Carter film, which I think she might bring that out next year. And at the same time, she might do something in 2027. Or what could happen is at the end of the year, she might, once this entire tour wraps up, she has enough time to basically edit and clean up the tour, and then we'll release it as a film for those who did not have the chance to go. Like I mentioned, I wanted to go back to what she said before and how the tour, the stage, is a production of a machine, and how the first tour we saw the infamous Renee, the horse, and how massive it was. And I need to double check that, but out of this Cowboy Carter stage and the other stage, which out of those two are much bigger, that is something I need to double check. Also, when she was flipping on this booklet, she referencing that these are different iterations of the stage. That goes back to what I said in my very first part of me creating the Echoville series on my channel, that Beyonce has a booklet, and I think she released a little bit of that booklet during the Renaissance era, and how people that went to see her saw the different iterations of the stage, and those iterations also feel as if predicted how Cowboy Carter's stage was going to look, or even the mysterious third act stage. This will make perfect sense to how she is blending these different stage, as well as the even if you look at some of the things she was showing, the Sir Davis bottle of her whiskey company also predicts the Renaissance stage in a weird way. Like the different combinations that she was explaining also mirrors or echoes the Echoville. So all that plays a factor into how this entire stage, how it's being manifested, and how the stage is being part of a larger conduction of production. She is almost as if as a conductor. She is challenging herself to create these experiences out of these tight spaces. Another cool thing that points out, and I haven't mentioned this yet, but from the start of the Cowboy Carter tour, she's referencing these inner pioneers that will be projecting her almost as if she's like a method actor. She's going to be challenging herself to summon these big, I would say, artists at that time, such as Chuck Berry, Willie, what's it? I think one of the rock and roll founders, Tina Turner, Little Richard, and so many more legends. She's going to be finding ways on challenging herself to put that. And I think the Renaissance film gave us a better understanding how big the stage and the production was. And this will also continue to the Cowboy Carter. It almost, like I mentioned before, these two tours in a way mirrors each other. One is more of a futuristic look, and we saw that instead of her having the horse, she has the Statue of Liberty, and it's almost as if it's like the Statue of Liberty is in this protest form, and it's considered the golden era of the Renaissance, Act 2. Now, Act 2 also had at least, I think, 30 tracks in total, or 26 if I'm not, or 27, almost 30 tracks, including the interludes. Let's say that Renaissance had 16 tracks, which was almost as like a DJ set. Cowboy Carter had 27 tracks, minusing the interludes, so roughly 26 or 25 tracks. And I feel as if Act 3 will have more tracks than any other out of the two, because it's a combination out of the two. And I think Act 3 may have at least 40 to 28 tracks. I'm not sure if they're going to have interludes, but I believe that's where she's going. So like and subscribe. I'll see you guys for part 6. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.